Sam Thompson, a retired army veteran, found solace in his garden, a vibrant oasis nurtured by his calloused hands. But the tranquility of his small-town life is shattered by the arrival of the Nelson brothers, a trio of unruly teens whose petty acts of vandalism escalate into a campaign of harassment. When their actions cross a line, Sam's quiet strength is ignited. This is the story of a veteran's fight to protect his sanctuary and a community's stand against bullying. The late afternoon sun bathed the small house in a golden light, casting soft shadows over the perfectly tended lawn and the riot of flowers that surrounded it. Blooms of every kind, vivid marigolds, tall sunflowers, and delicate lavender drew the eyes of passers-by. People would often slow down just to admire the sight, marveling at the care it must take to maintain such beauty. The house itself was modest, its peeling white paint and faded shutters telling the story of years weathered by time and struggle. Despite its wear, it radiated a sense of warmth and pride. Sitting on the porch in his old rocking chair was Sam Thompson, a retired army veteran. His dark hands, rough and calloused from years of both war and tending the earth, rested on his knees. He had spent the day in the garden, pruning and planting, his back bent but his resolve unyielding. For Sam, the garden was more than a hobby. It was therapy, a place where he could nurture life instead of facing its destruction, as he had done during his tours overseas. As he leaned back in the chair, a low, rhythmic creak punctuating the otherwise serene evening, the distant laughter of children reached his ears. He looked toward the street corner where a group of teenagers had gathered, tossing a basketball and shouting over one another. He recognized them, the three Nelson brothers who had moved into the neighborhood a few months ago. They were tall, loud, and brash, their presence unsettling the quiet harmony of the block. Sam had met them once shortly after they'd moved in. He'd walked over with a basket of tomatoes from his garden, extending a neighborly hand. Their mother had been polite but distracted, thanking him quickly before retreating inside. The boys had been less courteous, offering grudging nods and muttered responses. Since then, Sam had seen them wandering the streets, their boisterousness leaving a trail of crumpled chip bags and half-finished soda cans in their wake. It had started small, snickering as they passed his house, pointing at him while muttering under their breath. Sam had ignored it, chalking it up to youthful ignorance. But then the petty acts of vandalism began, a crushed row of petunias here, a snapped sunflower stalk there. At first he thought it might have been accidental, but the smug glances and laughter he caught from the boys suggested otherwise. Tonight, as the sun dipped lower and painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, Sam rose from his chair, his joints creaking in protest. He picked up his tools and placed them neatly on the porch table before heading inside. The house greeted him with its familiar stillness. Photographs lined the walls, snapshots of his younger days in uniform, standing tall beside his wife, Ella, her bright smile a contrast to the stoic pride on his face. There were pictures of their son, Jeremiah too, laughing as he sat on Sam's shoulders, the two of them framed by the lush garden in the background. Ella and Jeremiah were gone now, both lost too soon, and the garden had become Sam's way of keeping their memory alive. He was just settling into his armchair when the sound of something striking the house shattered the quiet. A loud thud followed by laughter sent a spike of anger through him. Sam hurried to the window, his heart pounding. The Nelson boys were in his yard, their ball rolling across the grass, crushing a patch of daisies in its path. The eldest, Darren, picked up the ball and kicked it back to his brother, his foot trampling another plant in the process. Sam opened the door and stepped onto the porch, his towering frame silhouetted against the light from inside. "Get out of my yard," he said, his voice low but firm, the weight of authority unmistakable. Darren turned to face him, his expression defiant. "Relax, old man. It's just some flowers." Sam's jaw tightened. "Those flowers aren't yours to destroy. Now leave." For a moment the boys hesitated. The youngest, Marcus, shifted uncomfortably, but Darren held his ground, a mocking grin spreading across his face. Finally, with a dismissive shrug, he turned and walked away, his brothers following reluctantly. Sam watched them until they disappeared down the street, the sound of their laughter lingering in the air. Only then did he step down into the yard to assess the damage. The crushed daisies and broken stems felt like a personal wound. He crouched down, his hands trembling slightly as he gathered the ruined flowers. The anger simmering in his chest was a feeling he hadn't experienced in years, and he wasn't sure what to do with it. The next morning, Sam rose early, as was his habit. The world was still and quiet, the air cool and damp with dew. He stood in the garden, surveying the damage from the previous night. It wasn't catastrophic, but it was enough to sting. He decided to replant the daisies, his hands steady and deliberate as he worked. As he was finishing, he heard the sound of footsteps. Looking up, he saw a young girl standing at the edge of his yard, clutching a small pot of flowers. Hi," she said hesitantly. Sam straightened, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Hello there," he said, his voice softening. "Can I help you?" The girl shifted nervously, glancing down at the pot she was holding. "I brought these for your garden. I saw what my brothers did. I'm sorry." Sam studied her for a moment, noting the guilt in her eyes and the tension in her small frame. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Alicia," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Well, Alicia," Sam said, nodding toward the pot, "those are lovely. Would you like to help me plant them?" Her eyes widened in surprise, and after a moment of hesitation, she nodded. Together, they found a spot near the daisies. Sam handed her a trowel and guided her as she dug a small hole. As they worked, he spoke in a steady, reassuring tone, sharing stories about his garden and the memories tied to each flower. "Every plant here has its own story," he said, patting the soil around the newly planted flowers. "Just like people, they need care and patience to grow strong." Alicia looked up at him, her expression thoughtful. "Do you think people can grow strong even if no one takes care of them?" The question gave Sam pause. He sat down his gloves and met her gaze. "Sometimes they can," he said after a moment, "but it's harder, much harder." Alicia nodded slowly, her fingers brushing the petals of the flowers they'd just planted. Before Sam could say more, a sharp voice rang out across the street. "Alicia, get over here!" Sam looked up to see a man storming toward them. It was Mr. Nelson, a broad-shouldered figure with a permanent scowl etched into his face. Behind him, Darren and his brothers lingered, their smirks sending a familiar chill down Sam's spine. "What are you doing over here?" Mr. Nelson demanded, his voice booming. "I told you to stay out of other people's business." Alicia scrambled to her feet, clutching the trowel like a lifeline. "I was just helping." Sam stepped forward, cutting her off. "She was helping me plant a flower," he said calmly, meeting Mr. Nelson's glare head-on. "Well, maybe you should mind your own business and leave my kids alone," Mr. Nelson snapped. Sam's jaw tightened, but he kept his voice steady. "Teaching kindness isn't interference." Darren laughed, a sharp, mocking sound, and kicked a loose stone toward the garden. "Nice flowers," he sneered. Sam didn't flinch, his gaze unwavering as he watched them retreat. Alicia cast a quick, apologetic glance back at him before following her father. When they were gone, Sam returned to his porch, his thoughts heavy. The days that followed were like a storm brewing. The Nelson boys escalated their antics, smashing flowers and scrawling hateful messages on Sam's fence. The neighborhood seemed to shrink away, the other residents unwilling to intervene. Sam knew he couldn't stay silent any longer. He began knocking on doors, speaking to his neighbors, urging them to stand together. Some were hesitant, afraid of confrontation, but others agreed to support him. They drafted a letter to the Nelson family, outlining their concerns and demanding accountability. When the letter was delivered, Mr. Nelson's reaction was predictably explosive. He berated the gathered neighbors, dismissing their concerns and accusing them of targeting his family. But then something unexpected happened. Darren, standing behind his father, spoke up. "We've been acting like jerks," he admitted, his voice shaky but sincere. "I'm sorry." The crowd fell silent, stunned by the admission. Even Mr. Nelson seemed taken aback, his anger momentarily replaced by confusion. Sam stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "Acknowledging the harm is the first step," he said. "The next is making amends." Darren nodded, his gaze dropping to the ground. Alicia stood beside him, her small hand resting on his arm in silent support. That evening Sam returned to his garden, his heart lighter than it had been in weeks. The damage was still there, but so was the potential for renewal. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the battered flowers, he knelt down and began to plant something new. Thank you so much for watching and supporting Story Karma. Your engagement, whether it's watching, liking, commenting, or sharing, helps us continue bringing you powerful stories of crime, justice, and karma. We truly appreciate each and every one of you for being part of this journey. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Your support keeps this channel going, and we can't wait to share more incredible stories with you.